The next set of functions that I want to talk about are logical functions. Now, logical functions are functions that allow you to evaluate conditions. And the first function here, and the most popular function, is the if function. Now, the core task of the if function is to test a condition. You pass the if function a condition. If that condition is met, then it passes true. If that condition is not met, then the if function returns a false. Now, depending on the result of the condition, you can tell the if function to do one of two things. So, for example, you would say something like, if the value in this cell is a 1, enter yes, else enter no. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But first, let's talk about the syntax of the if function. The if function requires 3 arguments: the condition, action if it's true, and the action if it's false. So, if the value in the cell is 1, that's the condition, then make it yes, that's the true condition, else make it false. That's the false condition. So I've got an example here, and in this example I have a table that has the sales and target for a particular rep, and it's got 4 months worth of data. So in month 1, rep 1 did $1,000 in sales, and his target was $5,000. Now you'll see a column here called results, and that column has not achieved. Now this particular value here is not hard-coded, it's actually a formula. If I click on this particular cell, you'll see that it's an if formula. Let's go up to the formula bar and analyze this. I enter the function name, if, open parentheses, and then I enter my condition. My condition is, if C22, which is the sales number, is greater than or equal to D22, which is the target number, then enter in achieved. If the condition is not met, enter in not achieved. Now you'll notice that the text here is wrapped in quotes. Anytime you put text in a formula, you'll have to wrap that text in quotes. Let's look at the next cell. In this particular cell, achieved is showing. Well, that's because sales is indeed greater than or equal to target. That's what this formula asks. If you go to example 2, we do a little something different here. Let's take a look at the formula. Go up to the formula bar. And this looks a little confusing, but we'll explain it here in a second. This is what's called a nested function. A nested function basically says that I'm going to place a function inside of another function, or I'm going to use the value of a function as a variable or an argument in another function. Now, in normal situations, this particular if function would say, if a certain condition is met, then do something, else do something else. But in this case, we're saying, if a certain condition is met, then do something. If it's not met, then let's see if this other condition is effective, or if this other condition is met. So let's look at what this says. If E34 is greater than 5%, and as you can see, E34 is percent of target achieved, then calculate this particular number. C34 is the sales times 0.15. What we're doing here is we're calculating a commission amount. If that particular value or condition is not met, then instead of just nullifying everything, we're going to actually give it a second chance. We're going to pass another condition. If E34 is greater than 0, then do this calculation. C34 times 0.1, which is 10%. Now, if that particular condition is not met, then enter in no commission. Now, it may be easier to look at this if we split this into 2 formulas. I'm going to type in a function here. Looks like Excel gives us an error message, and it basically says that there's a little error in our formula, and it's because I didn't close this text in quotes. See this no? I have an open quote, no, close quote. Now Excel is going to offer to fix that for me. And sometimes you may mistype a formula and Excel will offer to fix it for you, and other times Excel will just say, I don't know what you're trying to do, so you'll get an error message. But those are okay. You can either click no, cancel, or yes. In this particular situation, I'll click yes because it's just that I'm missing a quote and Excel is offering it to fix it for me, so I'll take that offer. Okay, let's look at this formula. If C34 is greater than or equal to D34, which means if sales is greater than or equal to target, then enter in yes, else enter in no. So now I can replace this no here with another condition. And this condition is going to say if C34 equals 2600, then okay, I guess. And press enter. So why did I get this message? This is basically saying that, listen, you've got two functions here, you've got two parentheses open, you've got to have two parentheses closed. So when you are doing a nested function, it's important that when you open parentheses, you have to have a matching closed parentheses. So in this particular formula, I had one open parentheses, another open parentheses, but only one closed parentheses. And Excel will always offer to fix this for you. So I'll click yes, and you can see it put that second parentheses in here. So what is this saying? This is saying if sales are greater than or equal to target, then type in yes. If not, then let's do another condition. If sales are greater than 2600, then type in okay, I guess. If none of those conditions are met, type in no. Press the enter key, and then I'm going to copy this particular formula down. And as you can see, I've got either no's or yeses. I didn't get any okay, I guesses. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, why not? This one's yes because the sales are greater than the target. This one's yes because the sales are greater than the target. In this one, the sales are less than the target, so we have a no, but it's not 2600. If I change this particular one to 2600 and press enter, the if function that I have here changes it to okay, I guess. So I've successfully created a nested if function that basically says if a condition is met, then do something positive. If it's not met, then pass another condition.